Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. In a moment, we're going to bring you this week's episode of Charlie Chan. But first, I do want to let you know about our other podcast, and I want to encourage you to check out the Great Adventurers of Old Time Radio. Every week, we are bringing you two Old Time Radio adventure series going from start to finish. Right now, we're working through the Interplanetary Adventures of Flash Gordon, which drops today. And of course, Cloak and Dagger. Check it out at greatadventures.info or wherever you get your podcasts from. Now, we are going to bring you 3 episodes today. As we wrap up the Willoughby murder mystery, I do want to caution you that the last one is a bit lower quality than the other two. It's not bad listening quality, certainly. Certainly not as bad as some of the Falcon episodes we've had in recent weeks. But the first 2 episodes, like all the other episodes we played in the Willoughby murder case, have been from a group of programs that were greatly improved versus what had been circulating, as well as adding some missing episodes. The last episode is just a bit more standard quality. So just be aware of that, but it's perfectly listenable. So here are today's episodes discussing Gerald's alibi. Willoughby won't tell the name of officers, and solution to the murders is at hand.
The most delightfully fascinating character in the realms of mystery, Earl Durbigger's Charlie Chan. In the case of the murder of Colonel Willoughby, Charlie Chan is convinced that he knows who the murderer is. Gerald Willoughby, the murdered man's nephew, apparently has an ironclad alibi. He was in Chicago when the colonel was killed, and he was en route to San Francisco when Simmons, the butler, was killed. But Inspector Chan, after duly pondering the case, sees in the nephew the only man with a vestige of motive, sees in his own theoretical case the only reasonable assumption possible. The island detective believes that for reasons unknown, Gerald had desired both the colonel and his son out of the way. The bulky Honolulu detective sits in a chair by the library fire, talking to Sergeant O'Brien and Miss Evelyn Mitchell, the murdered man's secretary.
You see, Sergeant, in this case we are dealing with a very prominent man, and we must prove sufficient motive if we are to even force an arrest.
But how in the world are you going to do that, Inspector? You can't prove a motive when you haven't got a single piece of writing, not a solitary witness. Now, if it was money, that's easy. Or a woman, that's easier.
A woman? Or Sir Reginald did say something about both cousins being in love with the same woman, Gerald's wife. Oh, but that hardly fits the case as far as the murder of the colonel is concerned.
But it may, who can tell? Observe, if you please, peculiar situation. I am convinced that Gerald killed his uncle, then killed Simmons. Yet, if you should ask me for motive, I can only give a suggestion. If you say Gerald has alibi. He was in Chicago when first murder was committed, and on plane flying to San Francisco when second murder was committed. I can only say it is for purpose of proving that said Gerald has motive that we are here. It is to break said alibi that we must bend all our efforts.
And you're after feeling quite sure that Mr. Duff won't help us?
That is not strictly correct, Sergeant. But Inspector Duff has known Gerald Willoughby for years. He cannot conceive of his being guilty. He does not wish to find him guilty.
Nor does Sir Reginald. Oh, not that he has said anything, but, well, I just know, that's all.
Quite so, Miss Evelyn. Both Duff and Sir Reginald will assist us to do everything necessary when we present them with some semblance of proof. But to present moment, all I can place before them is theoretical case, which I have built because there is no practical evidence of contrary nature.
I can understand Duff's feelings. I'm the same way when it comes to making a move that will bring a case before the district attorney or the grand jury. Well, more than once I've known who a murderer was, but I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't have the proof.
Quite true, Sergeant, and that is the situation here. It is not murder we have to find. It is method whereby he committed murder.
But we can't get away from the fact that Gerald sent that telegram from Chicago before Simmons was killed, which proves that he was in Chicago the day after his uncle's murder. An impossibility.
Do you recall the true particulars of the murder in the Rue Morgue? Not the story by the great author Edgar Allan Poe, but the actual case from which he built his story of the ape.
It's kind of hazy in my mind.
I always thought it was a piece of fiction.
By no means. The murder took place at number 16 La Rue Morgue, 2 o'clock in the morning. Rose Delacourt goes into her apartment. Observe. The woman was seen to enter her room. The stout oak door was bolted on the inside. The window likewise was bolted on the inside. The chimney, so small that not even a cat could get in or out, yet here is the woman, stabbed with such force that the blade, which must have been like the blade of a sword, goes through the body to the mattress. Not a cry, not a sound. Yet the woman is dead. It is an unsolved crime. But, while no one can prove who committed it, it was committed. While we have not so far proved that Gerald committed this murder, he is the only one with motive. The fact that we cannot prove how he did it does not permit us to shrug shoulders, so to speak, and retire from case.
I'm with you, Inspector. Somehow, someplace we've missed a point. Somewhere the murderer slipped. Somewhere we've slipped. Some little thing we haven't given the right thought to.
Correct, Sergeant. Let us retrace steps for a moment. Night of murder, Colonel Willoughby is standing in gymnasium. Note, which he believes was written by Duff, is slipped into his hand.
He walks about 12 steps to the hallway, and in less than 2 minutes, you, Mr. Chan, find him lying there dead.
The very next day, Simmons answers the door. We go out to see what's happened to him. Within 2 minutes, and he only says, records. I saw it was
records. Records. Think, Sergeant. Is it not strange that a man in his last moment should use the word records in preference to papers? Records.
Military records or police records?
Be so kind as to ask Duff and Sir Reginald and Gerald to step in the room, please. Also, Mr. Blake. I wish to ask favor of him.
Sure, Inspector.
Thank you so much. Miss Evelyn, we have not searched Colonel's business papers as thoroughly as we have searched private correspondence. Perhaps in that we have been somewhat negligent. We shall correct it. You have papers here?
In this black briefcase. I'll spread them out on the desk here by the window.
I do not wish to appear hurried, but I am anxious to leave day after tomorrow by steamer.
You actually believe you can solve this by then?
I am confident of it. I am certain that with Mr. Blake's cooperation, we shall trap murderer into showing visible evidence of his guilt, and then confession will follow suit. Yes, I am certain of it. Yes, we have been discussing last words of Simmons, words which he repeated. Record. We thought that record was a strange word for dying man to use. Somehow, persistent thought comes to us that in that word there is definite clue.
I've done quite a bit of thinking about that too, Charlie. But I can't think of any military records in connection with the case at all. Perhaps Gerald knows something.
No, really, I don't. It's all very distressing. My cousin Douglas was ordered tried by court-martial for cowardice. The papers carried the story. We were all very much upset.
Naturally. It is a distressing affair, as you say, a family of military reputation. You were in France at the time?
Yes, so of course I didn't know much about it. I was colonel of a territorial unit. Well, as I say, just a few days before the court was to convene, Douglas committed suicide.
We now know, of course, that he did not. But that is what you thought at the time.
Yes. Well, we managed to have the thing hushed up then, but it almost broke Uncle's heart.
How long afterward was it before Colonel Willoughby began to doubt that his son had committed suicide?
I can answer that, Inspector. The Colonel came to me with the story that an old soldier, whom we now know to be Simmons, told the Colonel that Douglas wasn't dead. He said that he never was guilty of cowardice. And the old man immediately started on a trip around the world to see if he could locate his son. He's been traveling ever since, 11 years now.
And you, Mr. Willoughby, knew nothing of this?
I knew a little of it, yes. I was like my uncle. I didn't like the idea of the stigma of cowardice being attached to the family. But I know the Army, charges of cowardice aren't brought lightly. They're generally well substantiated.
Quite so. But to return to the word record. No one can give leading thought on that point.
I'm afraid not, Inspector.
Come in, please. Mr. Blake. Sit down, please. I have a favor to ask of you in one moment.
I'll be delighted.
The only other records I could think of, Charlie, were police records.
I thought of them too, Inspector, but that don't seem to help us much.
I can't see it either, Sergeant.
Oh, before I forget, you have convinced Mr. Gerald that prisoner we have at present in jail is Colonel's son, Douglas?
Yes, I'm convinced. But I don't see what on earth he was doing searching my uncle's papers.
Quite clear, I think. Young man was fearful that he was to be disclosed, and for reason best known to himself, he desires that the past be dead.
Naturally, no one at his age wants to be reminded of an experience of 20 years ago.
But it is more than that. Think, please. Is there any other reason he might have for wishing truth not to become known?
Why, no, of course not.
You are tired from trip. I understand. Yes. That will be all just now. Thank you so much. Inspector Duff, will you stay behind for one moment, please, Mr. Blake?
Of course.
I'm going down to the jail. Want to come, Evelyn? Miss Mitchell?
Do you mind, Mr. Chan?
Indeed, no. I think little fresh air will do you good, especially taken in company of Sir Reginald. Yes.
By Jove, you do notice things, don't you, Charlie? Come along, Evelyn. Right with you, Gerald.
Mr. Blake, would you be kind enough to invite all guests who were present night Colonel was killed to attend another gathering at your home?
Why, certainly, if you have a reason.
I have very definite reason. I intend to clear mystery.
When? I mean, today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow evening at 7.
Just as you say, Inspector.
Sergeant, you are to stay with me tonight. We will complete our little plot.
I'll be Johnny on the spot, Inspector.
Duff, my old friend, I am going to play a role of Chinese Santa Claus tomorrow. Can you have British consul here as one of guests?
Certainly, but what's the big idea?
I am going to vindicate honor of young man at present in jail. I wish official witness of confession of murderer that Lieutenant Douglas Willoughby was not coward as charged by superior officer.
Charlie Chan, Inspector Duff, and Sir Reginald Bartleby are guests at the Blake home in San Francisco, where Colonel Willoughby, a world-famous traveler, was giving a lecture on China. During the showing of the picture, the film started to slip. Inspector Chan, surprised that the colonel did not notice the blurred film, orders the lights switched on. The colonel is found murdered. The following day, the one man who could provide an explanation of the affair, Simmons, the butler, is found at the front door shot through the heart. Inspector Chan, going on the assumption that the whole case hinges on the colonel's search for his lost son, builds a theoretical case against Gerald Willoughby, the murdered man's nephew. And we find Sergeant O'Brien of the San Francisco Police discussing the case with the Honolulu detective in Mr. Blake's library.
Ah, here you are, Mr. Chan. I've just been after trying to get our prisoner down there in the jail to tell us something. But he won't say a word, that he won't.
You advised him, of course, that his identity must now be made known, that he can no longer hide the fact that he is Lieutenant Douglas Willoughby, who was supposed to have committed suicide during the war?
Oh, sure. But it don't seem to make any difference. He says that he won't tell the name of the officer who brought charges of cowardice against him, and that since there isn't anyone alive today who knows anything about it, we can't find out.
You told him of the murder of Simmons, then?
Sure, and I did. I thought the shock might force him into saying something. You see, Mr. Chan, I figured this way. Unless we can learn the truth about the charge being brought against the young feller, we can't prove motive against our suspect.
You are quite correct, Sergeant. Confident as I am that I know who the murderer is, I can do nothing toward effecting a conviction unless I can prove that our suspect had much to gain by murdering the colonel. The murder of Simmons, of course, was merely to silence the one remaining witness.
You've got more than that to prove, Mr. Chan.
What, Sergeant?
How Gerald was able to kill the colonel in San Francisco when Gerald was obviously in Chicago. Also, how he was able to kill Simmons when he was on a plane between here and Chicago.
Come here, Sergeant. Observe, if you will be so kind, papers on this desk.
Yes, I see them. Airline schedules.
Sergeant, do you ever place yourself in position of person wishful of committing murder?
Well, I try to do that when I'm figuring what the criminal might be likely to do.
Assume with me for a moment, please, that we are murderer with desire to kill Colonel. He must do so without arousing any suspicion of himself naturally.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Potential murderer is not known in the United States. So he engages a room for himself at a hotel in Chicago. He then engages some person to live in said hotel. This person to make himself seen frequently, thereby providing alibi for himself, while he takes train to San Francisco under assumed name and in disguise.
I get you. He gets some feller to hang around the hotel so he's an alibi, while he gets on the same train as Duff and comes out here to San Francisco.
Correct, Sergeant. Having left behind him his alibi, he comes to this house where he knows Colonel will be, slips into the hallway, kills Colonel, and leaves no trace but few silk threads of scarf on the hilt of knife he used.
Yeah, but Mr. Chan...
Yes, Sergeant?
That don't account for Mr. Gerald Willoughby being able to get off the plane arriving from Chicago. He's got an alibi there we can't break.
Yes, I am certain I know how that was accomplished.
You do?
Yes, Sergeant. Mr. Gerald Willoughby sent wire, possibly in code, telling his accomplice to take plane for San Francisco via Los Angeles.
Coming by Los Angeles? But why?
Because, Sergeant, he killed Simmons, caught plane for Los Angeles, and changed places with his accomplice, who had booked passage in name of Gerald Willoughby. Therefore, when we went to plane to meet him, he had all appearance of having made through trip from Chicago. I have checked time schedule, with time Simmons was killed, and in manner I have described, both murders were possible.
Well, I'm with you. What's the next move?
After interview with Inspector Duff and Sir Reginald, you must go to hotel at which murderer is stopping and possess yourself of a pair of his shoes. Also search for colored scarf, threads of which we found on the hilt of knife. Come in, please. Miss Evelyn, Inspector Duff. Sir Reginald, we were talking of you.
Have you made any progress?
I think so. Yes, I am confident we have. Although one should not forget that it is unwise to sell the blooms before the seeds are in the ground.
A Chinese manner of saying, don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
You have finished little task I set you, Miss Evelyn?
Well, I don't know whether or not you'll call it finished, Mr. Chan, but I've got quite a list made out.
Yes, by Jove. We've been sitting in the study trying to think of all the different kinds of records. Been quite like a crossword puzzle game.
Yeah, I didn't know there were so many different kinds of records.
I gather, then, that your list is, shall we say, formidable?
It is. Shall I read it?
Thank you so much.
Sports records, aviation records, stratosphere records, sailing records, medical records, police records, court records, weightlifting records, sales records, birth records.
One moment, please. May I have the list?
Certainly. Here you are.
Thank you so much. Duff, my friend, where is Mr. Gerald?
At his hotel, dressing for the party tonight, I suppose. Which reminds me, we'd better be doing the same.
But you have time to do something for me?
Oh, certainly. What is it?
Will you go to jail and bring to party our prisoner?
Douglas?
Yes, please. Do not for 1 second let him out of your sight. To do so may mean his life. You, Sir Reginald, will you assist?
Naturally, I'll do anything.
Without arousing suspicion, will you go to Mr. Gerald's hotel and escort him here? Moment he is ready to leave, upon some pretext or other, phone either myself or Sergeant that you are leaving.
Well, yes, I just as soon help to prove that you're on the wrong track by suspecting Gerald. I'll do as you ask.
Again, thank you so much. As you leave, please be so kind as to ask Mr. Blake to step into library.
Righto, I shall.
When we receive telephone call from Sir Reginald to effect that Mr. Gerald is on his way here, then you, Sergeant, can proceed with safety to search for colored scarf, which will, I am certain, show where fine threads have been dragged from fabric by engraved handle of knife murderer used.
Sure, and I will. And at the same time, I'll get a pair of his shoes.
Correct, Sergeant.
You wanted me, Inspector?
Ah, yes, Mr. Blake. Is it possible, do you think, that tonight, when guests are served glasses of liquid refreshment, that Sergeant O'Brien could play a role of butler?
What? Me play a butler? Are you joking, Mr. Chan? I couldn't pass for a butler.
You are a good detective, Sergeant. You must play butler.
Of course. I don't understand why you want him to do that, but I'll do all I can to help.
You are outvoted, Sergeant. You play leading role of butler.
Oh, but honest, Mr. Chan.
One moment, Sergeant, while I explain. In serving glasses to guests, you will be in position of possessing yourself of glass used by Mr. Gerald. Said glass will undoubtedly be marked by fingerprints. Said fingerprints may be necessary in obtaining eventual conviction.
All right, Mr. Chan, I'll play butler. But if the boys and the force ever hear of this, I'll never hear the end of it.
Do not worry, Sergeant. When this case is ended, you will be inspector. I can assure you of it.
And I'm after telling you, Inspector, that I appreciate it.
If there isn't anything else, Inspector Chan, I'll hurry along.
Of course, you have preparations for guests. All over here, night of murder, are to be here tonight?
Every one of them.
One more thing before you leave. Little statuette of soldier which murdered Colonel grasped in his hand as he was struck down. You will place that in living room in some high place where it can be noticed, but where it cannot be touched.
Certainly, yes. I'll attend to that.
Use cloth in holding statuette. We do not wish to disturb fingerprints, but I do wish to see whether or not Mr. Gerald's eyes are irresistibly drawn toward it.
I'll be careful.
And, Miss Evelyn, you desire to leave us to get properly attired for party?
If you don't require me.
By no means. Case is almost ended. Run along and get into your pretty clothes for your pleasure, as well as that of Sir Reginald.
Why, Mr. Chan, how did you know?
Am I not supposedly detective?
Oh, I forgot. I found this piece of film in the library. It belongs to the Colonel's travel film.
Ah, yes. Piece broken off, by the way. In looking at film before, I noticed something I did not understand. Perhaps you, Miss Evelyn, can explain. What is black line running down extreme edge of film?
Oh, well, that's the soundtrack. These are sound pictures, you know, but the Colonel didn't have the reproducing equipment with him. On his Chinese trip, he recorded the sound both on the film and on the records.
Record? Record.
Records?
So stupid of us. Quickly, Sergeant. We go to Simmons' room. Make thorough search. I think... Yes, I am certain. When we have found record to which Simmons referred, case is finished.
The solution of the murder of Colonel Willoughby and Simmons is at hand. Charlie Chan, having built a theoretical case against the murdered man's nephew, Gerald Willoughby, only waits the gathering together of the guests who were present the night the murder was committed to obtain convincing proof that his theory is correct. Sergeant O'Brien, disguised as the butler, stands in the study with Sir Reginald, Mr. Blake, and Miss Evelyn Mitchell, while Charlie Chan completes his plans for trapping the murderer.
Everything is in readiness, Mr. Blake?
Yes, Inspector, as far as I know.
You received a little bronze statuette of soldier from police and placed it in room in which guests are assembling?
That he did, Mr. Chan. I brought it from headquarters myself.
And you, Miss Evelyn, attended to your little duties this afternoon?
Why, Mr. Chan, what do you mean?
Useless to hide things from detectives. Is that not so, Sir Reginald?
Apparently so, Inspector. I suppose that we'll be casting no bombshells in your direction when I tell you that Evelyn and I are to be married.
I am truly delighted. I wish you very, very much happiness.
Thanks, old chap.
Thank you, Mr. Chan.
You have fingerprint man here, Sergeant?
Sure I have, Mr. Chan. He's in the kitchen. He's a good one, and he works fast.
As soon as you have served first round of drinks, you will be careful to see the glass Mr. Gerald uses is segregated so that fingerprint identification is made quickly and easily.
I do wish you'd drop the whole thing, Charlie. I hate to see you make a mistake.
But if Mr. Chan does make a mistake, no one but ourselves will know. If the fingerprints on the wine glass don't correspond with the prints on the statuette, no one needs to know anything.
Miss Evelyn is correct. Mr. Blake, host, will not be embarrassed. Mr. Gerald will never know he was suspected. You left Mr. Gerald in the living room, Sir Reginald?
Yes, he's talking to some of the guests. Duff is there to see that nothing goes wrong along these lines.
Mr. Gerald has not recognized his cousin Douglas?
No, Duff introduced him, Douglas, as Mr. Jim Watson. And Gerald took the introduction as a matter of course. By Jove.
What, Sir Reginald?
I was thinking of Isabel, Gerald's wife. If you're right, Charlie, this is going to be pretty bad for her.
Unfortunately, criminal in his activities brings unhappiness and ruin to more than himself. But criminal always thinks he is more clever than other people.
By the way, Inspector, one thing I want to know. What speech did Gerald make when you first spoke with him that convinced you of his guilt?
You will remember Mr. Gerald spoke of his uncle meeting the murderer face to face. Now you know that no one except ourselves and the murderer knew that Willoughby had been stabbed in the heart while facing his assailant.
By Jove, Mr. Chan, I do recall.
Now, Mr. Blake, if you and Sir Reginald will go to living room, and you, Sergeant, will serve drinks.
All right, Mr. Chan.
After you have had glass tested for fingerprints, you will return to living room, knock on door this way. We shall then know that fingerprint test has been successful.
I'll do everything the way you want it, Mr. Chan.
Good luck, Sergeant, in role of butler.
I'll need it.
After you, Blake.
Now, Miss Evelyn, you have notebook and pencil.
Yes, Mr. Chan.
You will enter room with me, and as unobserved as a beautiful lady can be, you take secluded seats where you can make notes of everything that transpires.
Yes, Mr. Chan. I'll sit by the heavy curtains in the window.
Come then. We shall join others in living room. My arm, Miss Evelyn. We must enter as naturally as possible. Nothing must be done to arouse suspicion of murder, although, if my theories are correct, he already is in shadow of noose.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to those of you not already met him, Inspector Chan of the Honolulu Police.
How do you do? Yes, I shall be as brief as possible. You must all, of course, know why you are here tonight. I promised Mr. Blake, Inspector Duff of Scotland Yard, Sir Reginald, that here in this room I should give into their hands the murderer of Colonel Douglas Willoughby. It is a theory, but a practical one, that the murderer invariably revisits the scene of his crime. We decided not to risk success by theory, so we brought murderer here. Yes. May I humbly submit this thought to you? It is one thing to know who is murderer. It is an entirely different thing to present proof that will result in conviction of said murderer. This much we know. Murderer was person who was acquainted with daily activities of murdered Colonel. He had followed him to this house from hotel. We are likewise certain of one other fact. Murdered Colonel saw and recognized murderer, and in one last desperate effort to leave us with essential clue, murdered man grasped a little statuette of soldier which stood on stair rail. That was the essential clue, which, within 3 minutes, shall place hangman's rope about cruel and vicious criminals. You have rung bell for butler, Sir Reginald?
Yes, Inspector, he ought to be here now. Come in.
You rang, sir?
There is no longer any necessity to disguise yourself, Sergeant. You may bring the evidence in. Place same on table.
Here you are, Sergeant. I'll help you.
Photograph. What on earth kind of evidence can that be?
A photograph.
Correct. Those of us who were present when Simmons was murdered remember his last words. Records. He said, get records. Through process of elimination, Inspector Duff, Sir Reggie and I determined upon phonograph records. But enough. Record speaks for itself. You have wound the motor, Sergeant?
She's all ready, Inspector.
Very good. Quiet, please, everyone.
To whom it may concern, this is the voice of one James Walker, attorney at law and notary public. I swear that in my presence the two gentlemen who speak have satisfied me that they are whom they represent themselves to be, Colonel Douglas Willoughby and Sergeant Major Simmons.
Quiet, please.
I am going to explain why I made this recording. I did so because I know that in the event of my death by accident, should I leave only papers divulging the nature of this expose, that these papers would fall into hands I did not trust. The world knows that during the war, my son was charged with cowardice, and that he was supposed to have committed suicide. This was not the case. My son and my nephew, Gerald, grew up together. Gerald was older, the more aggressive of the two. They both fell in love with the same woman, and to my satisfaction, for I loved her like a daughter. She seemed to care for my son. The threatened court-martial and supposed death of my son changed all that, and Isabel married Gerald. After the war, Sergeant Major Simmons came to me and told me that his conscience was hurting him. He speaks for himself.
You see, sir, it was this way. Master Gerald was in command of the sector. He ordered Master Douglas to retreat. Master Douglas did so, and Master Gerald brought charges of cowardice against him.
It's a lie, a lot of trumped-up nonsense.
Quiet,
I'm
please.
going to make you shut up.
Very upset. And Master Douglas, realizing that to fight back meant dragging the family name through the mud, so to speak, made me swear never to reveal the truth. You see, sir, Master Douglas did not wish to hurt Lady Isabel, now Master Gerald's wife.
I believe we have heard enough
very,
to
very fond
satisfy
of
you
Lady
on the
Isabel,
grounds
I
of
know.
motive.
And it would
If
have
needed,
upset
if you will be
me
so
terribly
kind, Doctor.
if such a thing
This
was-
was enough on Simmons' part to blackmail me. That wasn't my uncle's voice. This whole thing is a plot.
Sergeant, you have the wine glass?
Yes, Inspector.
Likewise silk handkerchief, colored handkerchief?
Yes, and the shoes. They're all in this box.
Ah, yes. Observe, please, how nicely shoe fits into plaster cast we made of murderous footprint. This shoe, Mr. Gerald, was taken from your room. Do you deny it?
What about it? You probably made the print to fit my shoe.
Ah, then this colored silk scarf. It is yours?
I don't know.
It was found likewise by Sergeant in your trunk. Observe, if you please. Threads pulled from center. Same threads, according to chemists, are threads found on the hilt of knife used to kill Colonel Willoughby.
A good lawyer will soon take care of these theories.
So I thought, Mr. Gerald. But here is something no lawyer, no matter how good, can defend. The glass, Sergeant?
Here it is, Inspector.
Tonight, Sergeant, playing part of butler, served cocktails. He took glasses to fingerprint expert, waiting in kitchen. Fingerprints on your glass, Mr. Gerald, are same as fingerprints found on little statuette of soldier, which now stands on top shelf of bookcase. Have you touched that since you came into this house?
I'll swear that he hasn't. He couldn't have.
He hasn't touched it tonight. I've been with him practically every minute.
Exactly. And he could not have touched it before, since it has been in possession of police. When did your fingerprints find their way to that piece of bronze?
I'm not talking.
There is no need. Your fingerprints were left on that statuette when murdered man held it before him in one last effort at defense. You are satisfied, Duff?
Right, Chan. Well satisfied.
Sir Reginald?
Yes, Inspector. There's no doubt in my mind.
Very good. Sergeant, you may arrest Mr. Gerald Willoughby for the murder of his uncle, Colonel Willoughby.
Do you come quietly, or do I have to put the bracelets on you?
I'll come quietly.
The slyest fox, though he raid the farm 12 times, finds to his cost that his very boldness is his undoing. So it is with man. The murderer, though he plans carefully, leaves the mark of Cain upon his work as surely as he carries said mark in his heart.
After you've heard from your sponsor, Inspector Chan will be with us again. Well, Inspector Chan, what do you have for us this evening?
Case we have completed reminds me of ancient sayings. Do not despise a tender rice shoot. Today, its loss means nothing, but carefully tended, it may tomorrow prevent a famine.
Meaning in our Occidental tongue that unconsidered trifles may be very important.
Correct, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, and good night.
Welcome back, and that's a wrap for this serial. I wonder if a couple got married every time Charlie Chan investigated and solved a murder case in the 30s, at least on the radio. I will say that I was thinking of a record the first times that Simmons referenced that. But that might be a case of chronological bias, because of course I was born in the 80s, and when you said record, you'd think of a vinyl record. And of course, home recording was a very normal thing, practically, not completely universal, but most people could have a little tape recorder. In the 1930s, while phonograph records were very common, home recording wasn't. Generally, self-recorded records were a novelty that you'd record at a store in a big city. Now, there were home recording setups, but they weren't widely owned. So generally, if you were a 1930s person and you thought of a record, you thought of a commercial recording. And it's hard to see what that could have had to do with Colonel Willoughby's death, so you can understand why it wasn't top of mind for Charlie Chan, and I can't blame him for jumping to the same thought I had. Now, of course, what the record did was clarify the motive, but the big thing that clinched it was the evidence that was found through pretty typical police work rather than any miraculous detective magic. Now, we can hope all the right warrants were obtained, but 1930s audiences didn't care much one way or another as long as Charlie Chan got his man. Now we turn to listener comments and feedback. And we go to YouTube, where Amy writes regarding my comments on the last part of the Landini murder case. I like Birmingham Brown. He was the comic relief. Well, thanks for the comment, Amy. I guess the only criticism that I would have offered, if you want to call it that, is that sometimes the extraneous elements took up so much of the film that you really didn't have a chance to really get to appreciate Charlie Chan as a character. And so what I've enjoyed about these serials is just a chance to really spend time with Charlie Chan, see him investigate, and to enjoy him working and appreciate what makes him such a great detective. But I understand some folks may just enjoy getting as much hijinks as possible, and if that's what you enjoy, I have no quarrel with you. But thanks so much. Appreciate the comment, Amy. Now it's time to thank our Patreon supporter of the day, and I want to go ahead and thank Neil. Neil's been one of our Patreon supporters since September 2016, currently supporting the podcast at the Shamus level of $4 or more per month. Thanks so much for your support, Neil. And that will do it for today. We will be back on Tuesday with Charlie Chan episodes that are self-contained. So self-contained half-hour episodes, no more serials, and a new lead actor. But join us back here tomorrow for Broadway's My Beat, where...
Some other time, maybe. Right now...
You're a policeman, aren't you? What policeman?
Clover. Danny Clover, homicide.
I'm Muriel Carlson. What can I do for you?
I asked to see Robert Burton, Laura Burton's husband.
And you're from homicide?
That's right.
Wonderful. Who did Robert murder?
We just want to talk to him. We're not sure he committed murder, Miss Carlson.
But it's possible that he did. Did he kill Laura?
Laura is dead.
Shot? Strangled? Beaten? Poisoned?
Strangled.
Well, I only ask because, well, I'm Laura's sister, and if any of my friends ask me how Laura died, I can tell them.
It's all your sister's dying dust, huh?
Oh, it's much more than that, Mr. Clover. It's a release. For years, I've been wondering how Laura would die. It's been bothering me. Now I can think of something else. Where'd she die?
The Waterfront Hotel.
Then Robert killed her, of course. I say of course because there's no doubt about it. Laura was always running off to places like waterfront hotels with him, so she could get to know him better. Maybe her own canopied furniture bored her. You know, I thought Laura's second husband killed her. Now it turns out her fourth husband.
I hope you'll be with us then. In the meantime, do send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives, and check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/Great Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.